Hey there, my name is Mike Munzing with Munzing Mortgage Group, coming to you again from South Orange County, where I've been a lender down here for over 20 years. I've got nearly 30 years in real estate and lending put together, so I've been around a while. Hey, I like to bring these videos to you to bring you the latest on what's going on in our market. This week, the week before 4th of July, I'm not going to be seeing you again until then, so have a wonderful time with your family. Let's celebrate our independence. But this week, let's jump into the rate sheet for the week. It is once again on my site over at www.mikemunzing.com. Go to my site, look at a lot of the great flyers, the tools. Most importantly is my online application, which is fantastic to get your buyers approved. You got to get out there and get them approved before you show them properties. That way, when you make that offer, which you need to these days to get right on those properties, you can do that with confidence. Okay, back to the rate sheet for the week. As always, or as for month after month, these rates are at historic all-time lows. It's fantastic. The affordability for your buyers is tremendous. So look at the rates individually, see what program works best for your buyers. I'm still a fan of the 30-year fixed, but take a look at that, print it out, bring it to your open house. My phone number's on there, my email address is on there. I am always here for you and for your buyers. I'll be working this weekend. Okay, as I often do, because he's got such great information, Stephen Thomas has his bi-weekly report out. It's over on www.reportsonhousing.com. Subscribe to his site. I used to have it on my website. It's now a subscription site, so I don't put it on my website, but go to his site, subscribe, get that bi-weekly report. It gives you tremendous details on every city, every zip code in Orange County, so you know what to tell your sellers, you know what to tell your buyers. It's a great report. Let's see what he mentions this week. I want to touch on just a few things. He really reinforces how difficult it is for our buyers right now. It's a learning experience. They hear what a hot market is to get into. We like that. We like to have motivated buyers. But the problem we're seeing, and as he puts here, we don't have the listing inventory to get them in there. They think that the short sales are still going strong. They think that the foreclosures and the distress sales are there, but that is a problem. So speaking of that, let's take a look what's actually going on with the inventory. In the last 2 weeks, it has dropped an additional 2% or 106 properties to a level of 5,626 properties available in all of Orange County. Let's take a look at the chart that shows you right here the huge spread of pending versus listings. Now, right now, the pendings have remained flat in the last 2 weeks, but you can see that takes you from 2004 on the far side right over here till today. Look at the difference between available listings all the way down to where it is today, where there's really only about 2 to 1 as far as available versus the pending. Okay, now for distressed properties, I mentioned that. Right now, for distressed properties, in the last 2 weeks, they're down another 6%. That number keeps dropping. These foreclosures are not coming back on the market. We're not seeing those short sales coming on the market as well. So this is quite frustrating. So if you want to look at this next chart here, you can really see on the far side, on this chart, it's 2008 on the far side. As you move over my direction, it comes till today, and you can just see those numbers just really fall off till today, where the short sales and the distressed properties are just really dropping off. Okay, I am shooting this video on Friday. Most of you know where I am politically. If you watch these videos, you know I'm a conservative. You know I've been fighting this Obamacare issue for years. Yesterday was a rough day, very difficult day for me. I'm glad you didn't call me. It would have been a tough day to talk to me. But hey, I want you to be aware now is not the right time to be politically correct. I want to educate, I want to bring you up to speed. Where I'm at, I study and study and study this political stuff night and day, as well as the markets. But I want to know what's going to be best for all of us, for our kids, my kids, future grandkids. I really want to be up to speed. But as far as Obamacare, I cannot do a better job than my good friend Bill Whittle. I want you to watch this video.
Well, hi everybody, welcome to The Firewall. I'm Bill Whittle. You know, one of my favorite lines about progressive thinking is, yes, it works in practice, but will it work in theory? So let's talk about Obamacare. Forget about whether or not it works in practice. Let's see how it works in theory. Let's start with the difference between rights and commodities. Advocates say that healthcare is a right. Well, unlike freedom of speech, religion, assembly, actual rights, healthcare costs money. Healthcare is a commodity. All that means is it's something that costs money. None of our existing rights cost money, but healthcare does. And when we make a commodity into a right, there will be consequences. The best way to think of this is to look at other things that should be rights if commodities become rights. You can go longer without health care than you can without food, so should food be a right? You can go longer without health care than you can without a roof over your head. Should housing be a right? Now, if you have a right to health care and food and shelter, then that means that you don't have to do a lick of work for them. If they are your rights, they must be supplied to you. No one takes away your right to free speech or to vote if you're out of work or choose not to work. So if housing, food, and health care are rights, then they're owed to you from birth, and you're under no obligation to do anything in return. If you have a right to food, housing, and health care, why would anybody work? The people who have to provide these things, like the farmers, contractors, and doctors, well, they have to work because these commodities as rights have to be provided. So these people become our slaves. And if you have a right to housing, let's say, what kind of house do you have a right to? I don't have a cut-rate Fifth Amendment protection against self-incrimination. I get the same protection as Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. But if housing is a right, why should I have to take a smaller house than them? Why can't I eat caviar and lobster every night like they do? Why don't I get the same Cadillac healthcare plan as members of Congress, let's say? Who pays for all of these things? That's not my problem. I know my rights. And finally, if I have a right to commodities like health care or food or housing, what about transportation? Do I have a right to that? What kind of car do I have a right to? Why a Honda and not a Mercedes? And do I have a right to entertainment? Do I have a right to a 60-inch LED widescreen TV? And if not, why not? Why do I have a right to some commodities and not others? And who decides? Here's a second look into the theory of Obamacare. In a world of private insurance, if you weigh 600 pounds, smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and want to ride a motorcycle without a helmet, well then first, that is a picturesque image, and second, it's none of my damn business. I'm not paying for your health care. You are. You do whatever the hell you want. We used to call this particular theory of doing things a free country. But if the state insures everyone through taxation, the British or Canadian-style single-payer health care system that is the holy grail of progressives and is openly acknowledged as the end result of foot-in-the-door Obamacare. Well, if everyone is responsible for paying for everyone else's health care, then suddenly your weight, your habits, and your activities do become my business, since I'm paying for it. Then we start to see things like obesity taxes and helmet laws and all of these other things that make sense only in the context of saving pooled resources. You're not going to want to live in the kind of world that will eventually become. You know, prior to Obamacare, the 93% of the U.S. population that had private health insurance had the best health care in the world. That system was not perfect by any means. Health care costs a fortune, and it continues to rise. 7% of the population either could not afford it or chose not to afford it. But the answer to these rising costs is not socialized health care, which doesn't work in practice or in theory. The answer is to get costs under control. Why is it that a sprained ankle used to be a $50 visit and is now a $500 visit? Well, in the old days, a doctor would sit with the patient, examine the ankle, say, that's a sprained ankle, and tell you to stay off it for a while and send you home. Now, that same doctor will make that same diagnosis and send you out for an MRI to confirm what he already knew. Why? To protect himself from a malpractice suit. Did you know that a vanishingly small percentage of all doctors are responsible for the vast majority of all malpractice suits? You get those guys out of medicine, and you get rid of most of this problem. Put reasonable tort reform in place, and many of these costs go back down where they belong. Did I mention that trial lawyers are consistently among the largest donors to Democrats and progressives in general, and Barack Obama in particular? No? It's probably just a coincidence. And if you want to keep messages like this coming, go to declarationentertainment.com today and become a citizen producer. We really need your help. I'm Bill Whittle. We'll see you next time on The Firewall.
Okay, Bill really laid that out. This is what we're up against. November's coming. It's critical. Last week, I mentioned getting everyone you know registered. I'm going to keep harping on that. We've got time. Get everybody registered to vote. No matter what side they're on, being involved is critical. So hey, we're coming into a beautiful weekend. The weather's fantastic outside. I'm here for you. I will be working. Give me a call at 949-689-5626. I'm available. I'd love to get your clients approved for you. I can get them approved over the weekend as well. So give me a call, keep me in mind, write me, find me on Facebook, find me on Twitter, however you work in your business. I'd be happy to be there for you. So hey, God bless you. God bless your family. God bless our country. Let's keep working hard. Let's keep fighting for our freedoms and our liberties. And we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Money, 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 money.